So in this one, we're going to move the landscape down slightly, and we're going to take a face from it just to finalize the size of our site. So let's get started. So I'm just going to drag this back down here. And if I come over to the layer tab, I'm going to switch back on the ground mesh. Okay, and also the backup. And you can see that that hides the house, but I'm going to zoom out so we can see this. So I can press 1. I'm going to press Z and bring up wireframe. And I'm going to press A to deselect. So what I want to do is just select both these meshes. So I'm going to press B and just box select that corner. And you can see that one of them is yellow and the other one is a dark kind of orange. You can barely see it, but it's selected. So the next thing I want to do then is move this down in the Z by 300. Okay, just to take account of our base mesh there. So if I zoom in, you can see this line running across the top of our base. I want this down 300. So I'm going to press G, Z and -0.3, and you can see that change there. So that's all you want. Just bring down the mesh so we can see the actual base. So I'm going to switch off the visibility of the backup, and with this mesh selected, I'm going to tab into edit mode and just zoom out. I'm going to switch back to solid, just press and hold and come around there. And if I zoom in, I really just want to select this face here. So with this selected, I'm going to press Shift D to make a copy. Just right click to cancel the transformation, and I'm going to press P and choose separate by selection. So if I tab back to object mode, I can select this object. I'm going to move it to layer 16 and just rename this then to landscape. Okay, press enter, and I'm also going to switch off the visibility of the ground mesh, and I'm going to switch back on the landscape. So if I select this, I'm going to press 7. For top view, I'm going to tab into edit mode. And again, I'm just going to press Z and bring up wireframe so we can see this. So what I want to do is just mark out the site a little bit better, reduce this square to the exact size that I want the external environment of this house. Okay, so Control R to add an edge loop here. Just going to right click, I'm going to press Control R. I'm just going to add in a couple here that I want just to get the correct size. So I'm going to leave those there like that. I'm going to add in 2 more here. One just so this is a measurement line to run in line with the house. And I can actually alt select this one and drag it over. So I'm just going to zoom in here and just alt select this one and drag it straight down. Just going to line it up with the house there. And the same with this one here. So I can zoom in, press GX and just line that up there. So we have a double line here and essentially a double line here. So if I switch to vertex selection, I'm going to come over to display. I'll select these 2 verts here and I'll get a segment and I'll show that. So if I come over to my properties shelf, I can expand this and just increase the font size. So what I'd like here is maybe 1400. So it's currently 2.66. I'm going to drag this down to 1.4. That's just to take account of a small trim around the edge of the house and a footpath. Also going to do the same thing here. Let's drag this in. I want to get a dimension here, so select these, segment. I can expand this and just increase. So again, I just want the same measurement, 1.4, and that would be close enough. I might get a measurement here, so 53. I'm just going to alt select this and maybe drag this back to 40. And that's close enough. It's better to have correct measurements on this, easier to quantify material, and it's also easy to increase these sizes later. So I'm happy enough with this. I'm going to delete these measurements, and this line here, it's just a measurement, so alt selected, press X and choose dissolve edge, and the same thing here, just alt selected, press X, dissolve edge. So I'm going to switch to face selection, select these faces around here, press X and choose faces. So I'm just left with the actual nice square size of my site. So I'm going to come back to object mode and press Z and come back to solid, just come around here, and that's our environment or our landscape set up at least, and that's going to do it for this one.